Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the top 10 potential busts for Season 24. This is going to be, of course, a hypothetical video here today. We're going to take a look at some 10 Pokemon, basically. They're currently not really having the play that they maybe could have in the future. So we're going to give Pokemon one or two moves that they currently don't have in their moveset and try to make them top meta for the next season. I did those videos already earlier on before, and you seem to enjoy them. If you still enjoy them, I would really like to see you leaving a like on the video as well here, so I can see the support towards it. If you want to see more, feel free to leave a like there. Just that would help me out a ton. Also, of course, you can subscribe while you're at it, but let's move on to the first Pokemon, where we will have the Goat. Of course, you're not trying to make complete monsters out of Pokemon. I don't really want to boost them to the point where they are so strong that they will completely destroy everything. That's not my idea here. I want to make Pokemon that currently don't seem play having some play, and Gogoat is one of them. The one issue of Gogoat is it doesn't have coverage. Brick Break is not a great coverage move on this Pokemon. Yes, you can drop the opponent's defense stat with it, but you don't do damage, and with that, you're basically a pure grass type attacker. I want to change that, especially with a Pokemon like a Drifblim running around. I feel like it would be kind of cool for this grass type to have a dark type coverage. And so what we are adding here is going to be Payback. Payback is an interesting move. Payback is going to allow you to have a lot of damage for a lot of energy, but this kind of gives you a good mix of you having a fast move that has stab, that does a lot of damage, and then having some other move that you can use as well that does a lot of damage. It's non-stab but has great coverage. And so, as you can see here with Payback, you're not going to have the most broken Pokemon ever, but you're going to have a Pokemon that all of a sudden is going to have some nice matchups here that you're going to be able to win, like the Corsola, like the Dusclops. And you have coverage against Pokemon like the Drifblim, which would be before the complete hard counter to this Pokemon. This doesn't mean that you're going to be able to destroy a Drifblim. Absolutely not, but in certain scenarios where you're going to have energy advantage, you might be able to have some potential play against those Pokemon, which I feel like is very, very much valuable. And as you can see as well, this Pokemon would most likely have some potential against the current meta. It looks absolutely fantastic, and with the coverage, it wouldn't be completely hard-rolled by certain Pokemon. So other alternatives for this Pokemon would be Rock Slide, which got nerfed too much in my opinion, which would have been cool before, and Wild Charge as well, which would help you out against matchups like Man Boss as well there, could work out as well. I like Payback a lot. I think Payback is the most reasonable play there for the move that this Pokemon can learn. Turtonator. I want this happen finally. Please give Turtonator Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is what I want to see on it. It would also be able to learn Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe would make it too strong, in my opinion, because the only thing that Turtonator is missing is a cheaper move. If this Pokemon gets a cheaper move, this Pokemon is going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, top meta threat without being broken. It is not broken at all. You have basically the same pacing as you would have with a Feraligatr. You need two fast moves here, which is two Incinerates, to get to a Dragon Claw. Yeah, it's a stab move, yeah, it's a very good typing as well, but it's not completely broken whatsoever. Like, there's counterplay to this Pokemon. And so, I do think that this Pokemon would be fantastic, would be most likely a top tier meta threat that people would run, but it would be kind of cool to see another fire type Pokemon enter the meta other than Talonflame. In order to give a little bit of diversity there, I guess you have to have Typhlosion as well. But I do think that this Pokemon, especially with the typing it has, would be such a unique and cool Pokemon to run for Great and Ultra League. Okay, Obstagoon is a Pokemon that I'm not too sure if it's gonna really want this move, but it's kind of the best move that it can have right now. Obstagoon was absolutely amazing for a long time in PvP. And then it got kind of hit by a nerf that it didn't really deserve, which is kind of a nice rhyme, which is going to be the counter nerf. Counter nerf wasn't something that really needed to be for this Pokemon. It was other Pokemon that really wanted to hit with a counter nerf. Obstagoon was just a victim of this nerf that didn't really need to happen like this. And so what we're going to try to do is give it a new fast move. We are adding Shadow Claw. Shadow Claw is a move that this Pokemon can learn. What I wanted to learn for this Pokemon first, though, was actually the move Sucker Punch, but it doesn't learn Sucker Punch as far as I know there as well. Sucker Punch would just be in counter clone before the nerf, so like basically gives you the same pacing, which would be 5 to each move, which would be absolutely fantastic, while doing stab damage, which would make this Pokemon absolutely overpowered, or like super strong at least, and this is sadly not possible. As far as I know, Obstagoon, weirdly enough, doesn't learn Sucker Punch. I might be wrong with it. I looked it up. I couldn't see a Sucker Punch at all on the moveset for this Pokemon. Again, could be my mistake there, whatever, but I don't think it learns Sucker Punch, which means that this Pokemon here needs Shadow Claw, which makes it a better Pokemon for sure. While in theory, apparently you're going to lose more in the current meta because a lot of Pokemon are just weak to counter. I think it's going to be a very good Pokemon with Shadow Claw that's balanced and still has a lot of play. The thing is here, this is the one-shot scenario, I think in the two-shot scenario, and especially with energy up, and especially with the typing that you have, you're going to have so much potential. Cross Chop still gives you the fighting type coverage that you want to have. Night Slash gives you a boosting opportunity, and what a boosting opportunity. You're gonna get there after the 5 fast moves for the first one, but after 4 for the second Night Slash, which gonna be such an interesting Pokemon to have then with great pacing. I think Obstagoon would be such an interesting meta breaker, while still kind of struggling against the bug type Pokemon which recently got buffed. And so I do think this Pokemon would have a lot of play, would be very balanced with Shadow Claw, but still would be actually usable finally again, which it hasn't been in quite a while. To be fair, I think it actually still has some potential in the current meta. Would be something to test out though. Anyway, a Pokemon that I don't think you would have imagined to have here on the list is going to be Murkrow, and for good reason. Yes, I could do it differently as well here, because I think that some of the Dark and Flying type Pokemon would learn the specific move that I was looking for here as well. This Pokemon learns Drill Peck. Drill Peck is a very solid move, and together with Foul Play, it's a very good combination. It is your Dark and Flying type, but unlike Mandibuzz, you're going to have better Flying type coverage with that one. And unlike the, the Moltres, you're going to have better Dark type charge move coverage compared to that one. So it has some benefits compared to both of them. And yes, we are talking about a Murkrow here, but apparently if you added Sucker Punch on this Pokemon, it turns out to be a very solid meta Pokemon. Which is hilarious. Like, what the hell are you gonna tell me that Murkrow has some potential? It learns Sucker Punch, it is a cool Pokemon. I want this. I want Murkrow being meta. Like, imagine having this little bird there flying around in the Great League meta. And it would be actually on par with the main series games, because Murkrow was actually dominant in the most commonly used Pokemon, and I think the first format for VGC for the new generation recently. So yeah, it would be kind of cool to see Murkrow having some play. Venusaur is going to be next, and this is actually the buff that I think is the most likeliest to happen. And I think the best one that I like on this list. There's a move that a Venusaur can learn that recently got buffed, and a lot of other Pokemon were able to learn it, but not Venusaur. And this move, it's very, even though I thought it would be on every Pokemon, it's only on like 5-6 different Pokemon. Venusaur is one of them. And the move we're talking about is Sludge. Sludge is an interesting move that would help this Pokemon out tremendously, like absolutely tremendously. Why? Because Sludge Bomb is not a great move. Sludge does nearly the same amount of damage. Like Sludge Bomb does like, I think 15 or something more damage, or 10 more damage. I think actually only 10 more damage than Sludge does, while needing 10 more energy. No, actually needing 10 more energy, which is kind of mad. So I think Sludge Bomb is 80 damage for 50 energy, while Sludge is 70 damage for 40 energy, which makes Sludge just generally a better move. But the main benefit of this one is that with a Vine Whip, you're going to have now a move that you're going to get to after 5 fast moves, which would put a Venusaur into the top meta. No doubt about it. Absolutely fantastic Pokemon if it would get access to Sludge. I do think this Pokemon would be completely everywhere, because it has so much potential with that moveset, and the typing itself is very good as well. So please give this Pokemon Sludge to get Venusaur back to former glory. Speaking of former glory, this Pokemon was really good before. The issue is that there is literally 0 good flying type fast moves and water type fast moves currently in the game, other than Greninja with the water Shuriken. We don't count this. So if you're gonna see any kind of water type Pokemon or flying type Pokemon currently, they're not running the fast moves of their type. Like we see, unless you say like Air/Mandibuzz, yeah, you can say that. But if you see Moltres, run Sucker Punch. If you see water types, Blastoise, Rollout, we have the Feraligatr, Shadow Claw, we have Gastron, Mud Slap, we have Quagsire, Mudshot. You have all of them not running a water type fast move, because they're all kind of bad. Same here. So what we're gonna do is we leave it. We leave it because I don't think there's really a point of giving Pelipper some random ass coverage move there that you don't really want to have anyway. So what we want to give it then is better charge moves. Weather Ball is fantastic, so let's give it a better flying type fast charge move there, other than Hurricane, which takes way too long to get to. So let's add Fly. On paper, you're actually, I think, going to lose one more matchup here, which is the Fortress matchup. It's still going to be a total more wins, and it's just going to make this Pokemon actually usable again without making it broken at all. I think this would be also one of the updates that I would love to see the most, because Pelipper is actually a really cool Pokemon and the typing has a lot of potential, but with the current moveset it's just not really good enough. Hurricane is just not really a good charge move, and with Fly added onto this Pokemon, and just gonna give you some nice double stab coverage while not being broken because the fast moves aren't really that great, and just makes it a very solid meta pick. And that is all that I kind of wanted to achieve with that, and I do think that this Pokemon would have some potential with this update. So yeah, I think that would be kind of cool for it. I know, regional Pokemon. But Hawlucha was a kind of an unfortunate case because I think it has access to Wing Attack before it got released. Wing Attack was still a very, very strong fast move back in the day. It got nerfed then. So yeah, this Pokemon never really saw the potential it could have. With Flying Press being so unique, I would love for Hawlucha to actually have some potential in the meta. And this might be a little bit of a overkill, but I think it's a cool fast move to add because only a few Pokemon again can learn this specific fast move, which is actually Karate Chop. This move is not really widely available, only for like certain specific fighting type Pokemon basically that have like a role in like actual martial arts and whatever, and like fighting style, whatever. Here we will see a wrestler, of course, in Hawlucha, which has Karate Chop as a move, and it would make it not broken. It honestly wouldn't make it broken. Look at this, it would not make it broken at all. Because if you resist fighting, you destroy this Pokemon. And you see it all over the meta here right now, where the Pokemon that you're actually going to lose to are like mainly Pokemon that resist fighting type, because Aerial Ace is just not going to cut it. The stats of Hawlucha is just alright. The main benefit of it is of course Karate Chop plus the Flying Press, which is a lot of pressure to opponents. But yeah, this is actually kind of quite balanced Pokemon. I think it's kind of a fun one. Next up, this is going to be one of the two Pokemon here today where we're going to add two moves towards it. Torkoal, fun fact, is the bulkiest fire type in Pokemon Go for the Great League. There's no bulkier one. I know, again, regional Pokemon, but it has been available, I think, like 3 or 4 times already for everyone, so I feel like it is kind of a Pokemon that can get buffed. It was recently just available again for the Go Fest. Basically, nearly every Go Fest you have the option to get the Torkoal. And yeah, what are we adding? We're adding Incinerate, and we're adding Weather Ball. Because otherwise, this Pokemon wouldn't have any potential. Just Ember Weather Ball is what I think is most likeliest on it, but it wouldn't make it good. It wouldn't make it good. Ember just doesn't cut it. Like, if you don't have Incinerate on a Fire-type Pokemon as like a Fire-type fast move, you just kind of don't do it, like literally. Like, you see the best Fire-type Pokemon currently, they all run Incinerate for good reason. You need Incinerate to be strong as a Fire-type currently. With Weather Ball, you're going to have amazing pacing again. You need two Incinerates to go for a Stab Weather Ball, which is absolutely fantastic. And with the bulk, you're going to be able to actually enter the meta as one of the top picks right now, being the best kind of Fire-type Pokemon. I do understand, though, the awkwardness of it being a regional Pokemon. I do get that as well. But we had dominant metas before with the regional Pokemon of Pachirisu in a lot of different cups already, or Tropius as well. I do think it would be fine to have Torkoal. It is, again, also beatable. Any water type, any ground type, what do you want to do? It learns Solar Beam though, which would be cool coverage. I think that's the second to last pick here for today. We have Nidoqueen here, Shadow version. What I would love to see on this one, and I cheated a little bit here on the right side, is I would love to see Mud Slap. And you might think that could be a little bit too broken. I don't think it is. The typing itself and the meta, how it evolved recently, I don't think that Mud Slap Nidoqueen would be broken at all, and we see it here already. Where I cheated is the right side, the average rating. What I did there is I went into the 2-shield scenario on both sides. The one on the left there is going to be just the 1-shield scenario. The right is going to be the 2-shield scenario there. Yeah, this Pokemon is going to be way better than the 2 shields. Of course, that's the main bread and butter of Poison Fang plus the Mud Slap. But as you see here as well, this is going to be an absolutely fantastic Pokemon to run here then with its move while not being broken at all. Still, Ghost type's going to be tricky. Still, Flying type Pokemon going to be very tricky now. You don't really have any coverage against something like a Gligar or something like this. You're not going to have enough Poison type damage coming up against any Flying type Pokemon. There is counterplay to this thing, but it would be a cool destroyer there as well of Credilli apparently. So yeah, I would love that. I honestly would love this Pokemon to be available with Mud Slap. And this is my final one for today, and this is the one that I want the most, to be fair, because again, I would like to have a little bit more hype towards PvP, and Incineroar is literally the most commonly used and best Pokemon in the main series games for VGC. And so what I want to see here is adding 2 moves. We need Incinerate, right? Not really. This Pokemon also has access to Sucker Punch, which I think makes more sense for this Pokemon. It learns it and uses it as well in the main CS games a lot. Incinerate, yeah, would be a play as well, but maybe would be even too strong. With the other move that I would like to see added on this Pokemon, which is Brutal Swing. This combination would allow you to have very nice pacing, because you're going to have Sucker Punch and Brutal Swing, needing 5 Sucker Punches to get to 1. And then you have the option to go for either Flame Charge as your charge move in order to boost yourself up, or Blast Burn to give like that insane damage output. I do think that Blast Burn would be the one that you would want to go for, which would be lovely, because you know what's kind of hilarious? Basically, the only Pokemon learns like that uses actually Blast Burn from all of the starters, I guess like, yeah, Charizard, but Charizard is bad. It's only Typhlosion. Like, only Typhlosion really is having play with Blast Burn recently. Like, there's no other Pokemon that really uses this. Like, Skeldritch is rather running Shadow Ball over Blast Burn because you have Torch Song already. So, you see what I mean? I think that this would be a really cool Pokemon to run. It wouldn't be broken again. The stats already kind of push it back a little bit, but it would be one of the best Pokemon to run all of a sudden in the Go Battle League. And I do think that Incineroar needs to have a little bit of love as well here. So hopefully you enjoy this video, and again, if you enjoy this, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you then. Bye bye.